Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers Podcast. What is going on, Clint Nation? Happy Monday. Happy Modelo Monday to you all. It feels like it's been a while since I've been here. So cheers to y'all. Got to open it off camera so we don't get in trouble. But anyways, we are part of the Believe network of podcasts, and on today's show, the Dodgers got beat by the Padres. We're going to talk a little bit about that. It is Monday, so it is time for Monday Overreactions, and what a great time to overreact after the Dodgers lose 2 of 3 to the Padres. We got more news and notes. I got to talk a little bit about this offensive lull this team is in. It feels like it's an offensive lull, and it seems like it always happens in May. So we'll talk about that. I got some Walker Buehler thoughts, all that and more. We're going to look ahead to the Giants series that is about to be underway. Giants have some injury issues of their own, but we'll talk about that in a second, guys. But first, let's bring it in. The chat is going off already. I appreciate you. You guys hanging out on this Monday, about an hour and some change before first pitch in San Francisco. Of course, I am Clint Pasillas. You guys can find it right there. Find me as Real FRG on the Twitter machine. I'm a longtime baseball writer, sports editor. I do the what do they call this? Talking on the internet. I do that here on my All Dodgers YouTube channel. Consider subscribing to the channel if you would not mind. It's completely free. Really helps out the channel. Give this video a thumbs up. That also helps out the channel. Try to get to 7,000 likes. That's where, or not likes. We're trying to get to 7,000 subscribers. 7,000 likes would also go a long way, I guess. But let's talk in the chat for a little bit. Vic, I got the wrong button on there. I'll talk about Patreon a little bit later as well. But we got some chat folks going on. Let me find it here. I'm have you guys in a little bit slightly different of a spot than I usually do. So let me move some things around so I can see the chat better. But Diane is in the chat. Carnivorous Lunar Activity is in the chat. What is going on? Metabolic Holic is in the chat. You guys also notice I was gone. I did camp at the over the weekend. The voice is a little shot. It's a little hoarse. So bear with me. We'll do our best. Ivy Stroking in the chat. Robert Loya in the chat. What is going on? Jenny Vega in the chat. What's going on, guys? Good to see y'all. Feels like forever. It really does. It really does. But let's have a sip and chat a little more. Important note here from Robert Loya says Shohei is back. Of course, missed that Sunday game. Did get pulled early from the Saturday game with the back tightness, kind of back grabbing on him. And you don't want to see that. You do not want to see your $700 million man get injured. This is a guy in Shohei Ohtani who has had some injury issues in the past, but thankfully does not appear to be that big of an issue. He is back, and he's going to be doing the thing for your Dodgers tonight. Carnivorous Lunar Activity says, hi, Clint, glad you're live. I am live, and I'm alive. Did not get eaten by any bears. Let's see. Killa Noez says, Clint, no way, you're in La Puente too, and is off of Amar and Valinda. I am not. I am off different streets. I'm not going to say them on here, but pretty close. We're pretty close neighbors. You know, let's go get some... So we get some burritos and have a good time down here in beautiful La Puente. Osterberg in the chat asking for the Dodgers to sweep the Giants. We appreciate that from Craig Osterberg. Vic Kez checking in from the 707. Denny Cortez checking in. Says, what's up, Clint Nation? What's going on, guys? Appreciate y'all. I'm going to burp for fun because I got to get that out of the way. I also got to not get this out of the way. I got to be excited and say... We got a $5 super chat from IB Strokin. Appreciate you. He says, welcome back, Clint, with some alien eyes. No, I was also not abducted while I was out there camping. Before we dive into the fun and the excitement that I have lined up for today's All Dodgers Live, I got to tell you about Bet Online. Bet Online is your number one source for all your summer sports. This season from MLB, you got golf, you got NBA, you got NHL playoffs going on, you got the stats, all the latest stats. There's news, scores are available. You can follow your favorite teams there, get the latest odds, lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to that website today, get your mobile device, download an app, download all the things that you need to do that make Bet Online that much more better for you people to use, as we say here in the business, more better. But anyways, Bet Online, that is where the game starts. So it's a good thing to go over there and, get on that website. Now, guys, I'm going to be arm wavy. I'm going to be hoarse with my voice. We're going to struggle a little bit. We're going to have a good time. This show might feel somewhat like the Dodgers series there in San Diego, in that a lot of things went really well, but just they couldn't put enough runs across the board. Dodgers lose 2 of 3 to San Diego. You already know that by now. We got some takeaways. What happened? The Padres just played better. They straight up played better. They had better pitching performances. And that's nothing against the Los Angeles Dodgers, who had pretty damn good pitching performances of their own. Tyler Glasnow, a tough luck, no decision on Friday night, pitched his ass off, 7 innings, 10 strikeout performance, only gave up a run, ends up with the no decision. You get the shutty on Saturday from Paxton. Buehler still going to take some time to kind of figure some things out. We know that. We're going to talk more Walker Buehler a little bit later. But Padres, man, this Michael King kid, on Dodgers territory last Thursday, which was the last bit of Dodgers content I did before taking off and exploring the great beyond and having beers on a river and beers here on a stream, was I guess I'll say kind of talk shit about the Padres. It was like, I don't know anything great about this team. I don't know how great this team is going to be. I think they needed pitching more than they needed Luis Arraez. And Arraez goes and gets the walk-off on Friday. And Michael King, who was one of their big-time offseason acquisitions with the trade of Juan Soto, throws a gem against the Dodgers. And the same could be said with old friend Yu Darvish, who threw a gem on Sunday against the Dodgers. So Dodgers just straight up got beat. It was the Padres World Series. Of course, we know this. It's every team's World Series when the Dodgers are in. But the Dodgers lose the World Series of May to the Padres in San Diego. Dodgers fans definitely help down there in San Diego as Petco Park sets an attendance record. What is it, 46 some odd thousand, 47 some odd thousand in attendance for Saturday's game, a record for a game at Petco Park. Of course, Pantone 294 there in attendance, and it's important to always hold that over Padres fans' heads. The Dodgers were there when you set that record, but I'll just say the Dodgers caught a team that was on a heater. That's straight up what it was. They've won now 4 series in a row. I'm not exceptionally worried about this Dodgers team right now. San Diego pitching better than I thought at this moment. We don't know if it's going to last that long. We don't know. You could say the same with the Dodgers. You don't know how any of these rotations are going to look in 4 months. But one of the notes they kind of threw out there, people wanting to focus in on, is the Dodgers have yet to win a series against the Padres in 2024. Of course, they split that series in Korea. The Padres take 2 of 3 in LA. I think it was 2 of 3, and then Padres take 2 of 3 as the Dodgers come to San Diego. So as we have learned, as we got people talking about in the chat, let's see what we got. Michael Ferry, I saw this one, says the Dodgers, they look lost at the plate, like overmatched, but it's a long season. It is really tough to have your team allow only 6 runs over the series. Of course, you have 1 shutout day on Saturday, but to have allow only 6 runs and you lose 2 of 3, that's not Dodgers like. That's not what this team usually does. But again, I'm not very worried at this point in time because, like I was just about to say, as we've learned, it's not about what you've done, what your team has done versus a team in the regular season, because the Dodgers beat up on the Diamondbacks and got swept last year in the NLDS. The Dodgers in the past have beaten up on the Padres and got bounced in the NLDS as well. We were talking about in our All Dodgers Discord server chat thing, whatever you want to call it. It's called a Discord server because that's what it is. The conversation was about some of the superstitions and the parallels that happen in baseball and sports, and maybe this one will tickle your fancy if you guys are looking ahead to October and Dodgers dominance in a World Series. Matt, our friend Goat Yachty, noted that the last year the Padres beat the Dodgers in some series or more series in the regular season. The Dodgers went out and won it all that year, of course, that year being 2020. And Noah Ortega, friend of the stream here, of course, he added the fact that that also came after the Dodgers made a big player acquisition, a big splash. Then in 20, it was Mookie Betts. Now, this year, it's a few people, but you can really point to Shohei Ohtani. And to throw it in there, throw a little pain for fun here from our friend Noah Ortega. That both of those, I guess we'll say, could happen if the Dodgers do win this year. They could happen the year after Clayton Kershaw gave up back-to-back home runs in the playoffs. So if we're just looking for all that kind of stuff, if we're looking for parallels, if we're looking for little things that make you plan ahead for championship aspirations in October, then you can have some fun with that, and why not, and have a drink about it. I saw my friend, my co-host of Dodgers Territory, Alana Rizzo, in the chats. She says, I talk a lot when I don't have a co-host. And Alana, I will tell you, it's a tough time when your voice is this bad to have to talk solo for an hour straight. But I appreciate Alana. If you guys don't know, Alana and I, of course, co-host a show called Dodgers Territory every Monday, every Thursday, 12 p.m. noon Pacific time, and 3 p.m. Eastern time on the Foul Territory network here on YouTube. Subscribe to them. Subscribe to our new YouTube channel there, Dodgers Territory. Today we welcomed Dodgers infield wizard Miguel Rojas, and it was a really, really great conversation with Miggy Rowe. Appreciate him. Appreciate Alana reaching out and getting Miggy Rowe on the show. But go check that out. Of course, after the stream, check it out. You also have the podcast versions of those you guys can listen to. But Riz in the chat, appreciate you hanging out, of course. Congratulations are in order. If we are taking a minute to not talk about Dodger baseball and talk about here our great community on the All Dodgers YouTube channel and on Dodgers YouTube in general. Congrats are in order to Diane Schroeder, the queen here of the chat. She quit her job today, and she can go do her own damn thing. And she tried to boast me up and say that I was part of her inspiration, even if just a hair. And I don't believe it one bit. I think she's damn good at what she does. So if you guys are looking to buy houses and buy real estate and buy cool things, probably not just cool things, but, you know, more so the former things that I said, go check out Diane. Go give Diana congratulations here in the chat. And hit that like button for Diane here in the chat. It's an important thing to do because why not? Let's see what else. Mr. Classic asking what happened to my voice. Let's see, a lot of drinking, a lot of hooting and hollering during camp, allergies, temperature changes, our pets' heads are falling off. So we'll be back. We'll be fine. We'll be ready to go. But anyways, I want to do a little bit of Monday overreactions, because that's what I do. That's what Mondays are about. It's about overreacting. And I want to have some fun with one here. I want to say, I'm going to put this on me. I'm going to put this on record as Alana tells me to stop drinking as much when I camp. And that's not, the camping is for drinking and not burning yourself. At least that's what I was always taught by, myself. But I'm going to take the credit on this one. I'm going to take the hit on this one. I'm going to say that I broke Andy Pages because I was calling for a hot minute saying this kid needs to get a new number. He should not be wearing number 84 anymore. This is a kid that's here to stay. And all of a sudden, he's kind of been MIA at the plate, hitting, I think it's 187. I had the number somewhere, and I think I deleted it because I'm kind of an idiot sometimes. But he's struggling at the plate since kind of, I wouldn't say feeling confident in knowing that he's not going anywhere. He earned the job, and now he knows he doesn't really need to play to keep his job anymore. You wonder, is there a little bit of complacency there? He knows he's not going anywhere. Mario says he broke Page's put him back. I'm going to try to fix him. I wonder if the league did catch up to Andy Pages. But again, all of a sudden he gets his new number. He switches to number 44, and he's MIA completely. I can't find the numbers anywhere that I did have, so that annoys me. I did write him down, but apparently I decided not to save him in the correct spot. So Andy, fix yourself because you're making me look bad. What's not making us look bad, though, is Diane Schroeder. Look at that. On the day she quits her job, she's going and blowing her savings with a $10 super chat. Appreciate you, Diane. She says, Silly Clint, it really is true. You were my inspiration. Ready to rock now. Life is good. So hats off to Diane for the next chapter in life, which is not answering to some dickhead you don't want to be answering to. And I'll sip to that. Next overreaction comes from fan favorite, also known as the Modelo Fairy, also known as Mrs. FRG. She says Max Muncy is the next NL Gold Glover at third base because he's been that good at third base over the last month since Korea. Max Muncy has been just not even steadily improving, drastically improving at third base. And that was one of the things we did talk to Miguel Rojas today on Dodgers territory about. I'd asked him, like, Max Muncy, what's going on there? How has he been so good? How did he kind of transition from being so pissed at himself at the end of the year? And Miggy was talking about all this work he put in. He wants to be good. He wants to be one of the best at the position. And it's been really, really fun to watch the I don't even want to say resurgence, but the rebirth. I don't know if it's that of Max Muncy. I want to say I talked to somebody. I don't remember who it was. It might have been my guy D-Mac. It might have been Jeff Snyder at one point. I don't know. I'm not saying they look the same. They're not the same person. I assure you that. But one of the things I talked about somewhere on this channel, whenever it was that Max will always put in that work and get better at something. He is somebody who is not complacent. He is somebody that wants to also be a Dodger for the rest of his career, and he knows if he's going to do that, there's not an opening for him as a designated hitter if he's going to stay here for the rest of his career, unless he wants to. Well, and not even that. It's not even that. There's not an opening there as a DH. There's not an opening at second base, in theory. There's not an opening at first base for a few years. So, Max, you got to get good at third base. And you know what he did? He told himself that, and he went and did it. And I'm very impressed by what I've seen out of Max Muncy. He's making leaping plays. One of the things they talked about on the broadcast was the baseball slowing down for him. He always told us for years. I remember talking to him during spring training in the clubhouse. He talked about how he hates third base. It's not his preferred position, but he'll go and do whatever this team needs, and he's doing it very, very well. If anything, maybe it is overreaction to say he's going to be the National League Gold Glove Award winner, but once that mantle kind of dropped from Nolan Arenado, the door sort of opened, and if Max can hit. We know Gold Glove is a bullshit award anyways. If he can hit enough, he can somehow maybe go out and win a Gold Glove award this year. But it's fun to see him put in that work and get the benefit, reap the rewards of all of the hard work he put in this offseason and continues to put in during the season, because this team has put in a lot of effort on the defensive side of things, and it's really showing, and that's got to be a good feeling for a team. We know Mookie Betts not a shortstop, but is a shortstop now. Gavin Lux has been one of the best second basemen. Yeah, he's not hitting much of a lick, if maybe a taste. I don't know. He's not getting to the center of a Tootsie Pop, is Gavin Lux, when it comes to hitting the baseball. But defensively, he has been phenomenal. And Max is right there in that question, or in that conversation. I will point out a tweet from my friend Jeff Snyder, of course, co-host of the Locked on Dodgers podcast. The Fielding Bible, defensive. So MLB team leaders in defensive runs saved. SIS Baseball dropped some notes today on the Twitter. The Dodgers lead baseball in defensive runs saved. And Jeff tweeted, the Dodgers lead MLB. The 5 biggest contributors, like we all predicted: Max Muncy at third, Mookie Betts at short, Gavin Lux at second, and both Teoscar Hernandez and Andy Pages in the outfield. So that's pretty damn freaking cool. And you guys know me. I love big, thick, and meaty defense out there. I had to do it to him. So shout out your future National League third base Gold Glove Award winner, Max Muncy, as said by Mrs. FRG. Of course, there's a lot of love in the chat for Max right here. I remember last year on Blue Heaven, the vitriol pointed towards Max. It was a bad year for Max. Things just kind of kept spiraling out of control for that funky Muncy. But the love is in here right now. Mr. Classic says, so proud of Max on his defense. Diane Schroeder says, I agree with Mrs. FRG. Mr. Classic also said, Max Muncy is a stud. Matty Man 5 Dodge, our friend, says you got to give it to Max's defense. Never really gave up there. Michael Creo says, he's better than average, still not Gold Glove worthy. Yeah, I mean, if we're not overreacting, then you're right. But if we're overreacting, give him the platinum glove now. Why not? Let's just do that one night for fun. Metabolic Holic says, Mickey Rowe, high praise for Muncy, Mookie, and Lux. Yeah, Mickey Rowe is one of those guys. He is a clubhouse guy. Muncy talked about him last year as a huge boost to the clubhouse. If not always for his defense and his offense, just what he brings to the team. Good vibes sometimes do go a long way when it comes to a long 162 game season. Let's see. Mario pointing out, this is how you know Muncy wants to continue with the Dodgers. Good point there. Appreciate the love. We appreciate the love for Max Muncy because he does deserve that love. And I'm going to have another sip because your boy needs it. And while we have a sip, I'll tell you again, if you haven't had enough of me, I do co-host Dodgers Territory with Alana Rizzo every Monday, every Thursday on the Foul Territory Network. Go check it out if you don't mind. We did talk to Miggy Rowe today. Really, really fun, good, honest baseball conversations with Miggy Rowe. So go check that out here on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. I do got to remind you, already talked a little bit about the Patreon, but I do have a Patreon page. I pushed the wrong button for it, but subscribe either way. But we do have a Patreon page. It's patreon.com/realfrg. It's a couple of perks there, but the important thing of that is you're helping support independent Dodgers coverage, baseball coverage here on YouTube. If you go check out Patreon, you also get access to, at the moment, you get access to the voicemail hotline where we do Monday Overreactions. You also get, you get to join the Discord server, and we have some fun conversations in there. We'll probably be talking a lot during tonight's Giants-Dodgers matchup. So go check it out, maybe if you want or don't. The link is in the description, patreon.com/realfrg. So I mentioned it, talked about that voicemail hotline, talked about Monday Overreactions. I want your guys' overreactions for this team after they lose 2 of 3 to the Padres. Sign in, drop into the chat. I want to know what you guys think there. Diane says, you guys really need to subscribe to Patreon. We have a great time on there. Diane is, of course, one of our fine patrons on there. Always one of the most supportive people here on the internet. There's a few people, too, who have supported but haven't joined the Discord. I hope they eventually get into the conversation. Either way, I do appreciate the support from people either way. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are really, really great people. And we appreciate now 4 or 5-time caller on the voicemail hotline, always down to throw in an opinion about this Dodgers team. And I will note, this time I didn't listen to the overreactions ahead of time, so we're just gonna raw dog this, and we're gonna listen to Noah Ortega calling in again for this week's all Dodgers voicemail hotline overreaction thing. Anyways, and go.
I'm not going to lie. Even though we lost the series, I walked out more happy because it goes to show how lucky we are to have Andrew Friedman. All the offseason signings did great. Paxton, Teoscar, etc. And then on top of that, our pitching was great. The only thing I'm worried about is I got flashbacks of the 2023 series with Mookie not being himself and Freeman and our offense sleeping. Except for for one inning when Teoscar made that grand slam. So overall, though, I'm happy. And there are many great things to happen this season.
There is no Ortega even finds a way to be positive in his overreaction where people would presumably be mad. We appreciate Noah. And we also got another one, another first time this is a new Patreon supporter, big time friend of the show already. Surprised I haven't seen the name in here yet, but we always do see my guy from Devore, California. He's on vacation today, though. That is Mr. Richard Flores, but he called in and had this to say. So let's listen to Mr. Richard Flores.
Hey, Clint. It's your guy, Richard, coming to you live, not from Devore, but from Escondido, deep in the heart of enemy territory of Little Brother down here in San Diego. My overreactions for this weekend is pure and simple. The Dodger offense was colder than my sister-in-law's personality. Little Brother is hanging a banner tonight for their second series win over the Dodgers. And moreover, don't ever estimate Dave Roberts' ability to F things up by not putting the runner on at first base, Arias, with first base open, only to watch the whole thing go down the drain and a big block party and a gas lamp ensued after. And as always, F the ghost runner. See ya.
F the ghost runner. We love that. We love tongue-in-cheek hatred for Dave Roberts, and we appreciate Richard for calling in. I saw Viquez. I think Viquez is actually somebody who is one of the first Patreon supporters and is not on Discord, so I will message you on Patreon again to make sure we get you on there because, got to have you in the conversation. It is fun to have you all in the conversation. Even if it's not here, we have more conversation there as always. Man, Five Dodge talking about Richard Flores, great YouTuber, always super chatting. I'll just appreciate him also being somebody who's DM'd and messaged a whole bunch, just showing support. Like a lot of you guys have. You guys have been phenomenal, continue to be phenomenal, and I appreciate the absolute shit out of all of you, or most of you, probably all of you. The last one of the overreactions from the crowd, and I want to get some more again here in the chat, by the way. Oh, look, I put it in the right spot. It's like when I'm looking at the chat now, it's like I'm looking at it. Synergy, guys, synergies. But anyways, Roy Estrada, I also put out a feeler on the community page here on YouTube earlier today, and Roy had some thoughts about maybe the Dodgers fans, Dodgers Familia, need to react or relax a little bit because you beat the Padres, you beat the the D-backs, and then you lose to them in the playoffs, something we already talked about earlier. So just get to the playoffs healthy. That's one of the things we've talked about. You mentioned improving our pitching, which we assume this team can do as it continues to get through the season, get into the season, getting healthy and all that kind of stuff. But the team we see today, as we've mentioned here on the channel a number of times, as a number of channels probably have also mentioned, team you see today is not going to be the team you see in the playoffs. And like Noah said, you got to appreciate the fact that Andrew Friedman is always going to do what he can to put together the best possible team that they can within reason to go out and win themselves a title. So you feel good. You feel pretty confident. I'm not down after the Dodgers lose 2 of 3 in San Diego. Let's move on. Let's see here. Mr. Classic says Dave Roberts says injuries are something he can't control. And same, I cannot control the weather as much as he can control injuries. The team has been mostly blessed in not having position player injuries. The team has only been down Jason Hayward for a majority of the season. But he's on his way back. He's on the mend, as Dave Roberts might say. So that's good. And it may also be bad for somebody like Gavin Lux or somebody more so like James Outman down the road. But, pitching side, all things considered, with the amount of injuries this Dodgers team has survived and endured pitching-wise, to somehow have, I think it's the third best ERA, team ERA in baseball right now at 3.17 or whatever it was. I think that's just for the month of May. They've been very, very good And they're doing it with a lot of the pieces they expected to have missing, up to and including now Evan Phillips, Joe Kelly. You haven't seen Clayton Kershaw yet this season. You haven't seen Brusdar Graterol yet this season, who usually is somebody who has a lower ERA. And you're seeing, guys in there like Gavin Stone, who's been very, very good since his first 2 starts this season. You're also seeing guys like Michael Grove, who, despite the numbers, has been pretty good. And I agree with my friend Tim Rogers, SD Dodger, or now Dodgers 2080, of course, here, Dodgers 2080 on YouTube. I agree with him that in that Friday game, considering the options, Michael Grove was not the wrong answer. I don't know if he was the right answer, but he was not the wrong answer there to face Luis Arraez. Things just didn't work out. Arraez is a pretty damn good hitter. He's no Tony Gwynn, but he's a pretty damn good hitter. Let's see. Robert says, give the Padres a golf clap for taking 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. But when it counts most, the Dodgers will prevail. And I like that fucking attitude. You're damn right. That's what we want to see. Michael Carrillo also says, hot take, Buehler is going to hurt this team. Oh, I don't want to think about that. He drove me to drinking, guys. Michael Carrillo drove me to drinking. We are going to talk Buehler in just a second, but let's get in now to some Dodgers news and notes as Goat Yachty, of course that's Matt, says Kevin will hit a home run tonight. Which Kevin? Is it producer Kevin? Is it Kevin Uhas? Is it my old co-host, Kevin Perez Allen? You let me know in the comments below. But I want to see a Dodger hit a home run tonight. I want to see Will Smith hit a home run tonight, because my guy Will Smith needs to get off the schneid, because a couple weeks ago I was S-ing his D and he has fallen off a cliff, and that leads into the first part here of Dodgers news and notes. It's more of a thought. This is Dodgers thoughts, in my opinion. Is the Dodgers offense, like, were the Padres good, or the Dodgers offense just slumping in May? Is it a combination of both? But this team is in a little bit of an offensive lull right now. There's no denying that. You're not seeing the same quality of at bats. You're not seeing the same crispness of batted ball contact, and it feels to me like we got to talk about Jimmy Land, who dropped a super chat for 70 TWD. I don't know what that is. Again, that is Taiwanese money. So thank you for all the videos. I'm from Taiwan. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate you very, very much. Appreciate the super chat as well. Thank you for joining the chat, and I'm happy you're a part of our fun little community here of Dodger folks that love yelling about or being excited about the Dodgers here on YouTube. Appreciate the super chat, Jimmy. As I was saying, does it always feel like this happens for the Dodgers in May? Maybe I just have that really like painful feeling still stuck in my brain from that 21 team where in May they went like 5-15 and things were so bad they signed the ghost of Albert Pujols, and yet somehow also resurrected Albert Pujols and made him into somebody. But there's that point they signed him. They picked up Yoshi Tsutsugo off of the trash heap, scrap heap, whatever you want to call it, and piecemeal together another 100-win season, of course, because that is what this team does. That is what this front office does and this organization does. But the Dodgers, as of now, is May 13th, hitting .227 in May. Kind of maybe relying on the homer again a little bit. That one, I'm just going to throw it out there only because they lead. They're tied for the lead in Major League Baseball in May with 20 homers, which is a lot of homers so far. The A's, they're tied with the A's, 20 homers in May. But .227 team average so far in May. Not ideal. Mookie Betts is a prime culprit at the top of the lineup. He is no longer, as Iris K brings up, a William McKinney, Billy McKinney in the chat here. And that was somebody who actually was on the NLCS roster in 21. That was a rough season. But Mookie Betts hitting only .217 with a .572 OPS over his last 12 games. Also not doing all that hot in the month of May. Freddie, I want to talk about Freddie for a second because the numbers are all there. He's hitting. He's always going to hit like 304, 301, whatever it is. He's going to hit over 300 or around 300. But my eye test is telling me the production, like the timing of his hits and his power just feels a little bit off. It's not like well timed in terms of runners being on base, taking advantage of big situations. It feels like the Ks are up a little bit as well. Maybe I'm trying too hard to force a narrative there with Freddie Freeman, but it just doesn't feel the same. You know, it doesn't feel as productive as we usually see with Fredward Freeman. And that's kind of one of those things that's adding. Shohei Ohtani tearing the cover off the ball, maybe still some RISP issues, some runners in scoring position issues, but dude's hitting 366. It's not a problem. Or he's hitting over 350. He'll say, I don't know exactly where he's at right now because, admittedly, I didn't get a chance to watch a whole lot of Dodger baseball this weekend outside of the highlights and the lowlights and all that kind of stuff. But, again, Freddie just seems a little bit off. But the bottom of the lineup slipping again. We already talked about Andy Pages earlier, who's hitting under 200 over his last, I think it's 8 to 12 games, 8 to 10 games. Got that new number. Things went wrong, and I blame me. But the real thing, the real problem might be Will Smith, who had been the glue for the first month of the season when somebody was just a little bit off, when Shohei wasn't driving in runs, when Freddie was in his extended mini slump. Will was there. Will was cleaning up. Will was helping offset some of the strikeouts you get from Max Muncy, you get from Teoscar Hernandez because he was actually driving in some runners. But 3 for 29 in May, that's a 103 clip. 6 for 41 since that big 4-hit game in Toronto where I believe he was DHing. So that's 146 over his last 11 games. Maybe Will's playing a little bit too much. Maybe he just got into bad swing habits. Maybe he started expanding the zone a little bit. Maybe he needs a day, like a true day or two off. So hopefully Dave gives him, like, if he doesn't have a good series here, to open in San Francisco, maybe give him Wednesday off, and then you back in that with the Thursday off, and you feel a little bit better. But yeah, it's one of those things, you know. Just the offense. It's in a lull, and that's what it is. That is how. I don't know if you guys feel differently, but that's kind of what I feel. Let's get some thoughts though. As we try to keep the voice strong using the power of Modelo, guys, please do sponsor us if you would not mind. It is Modelo Mondays as we do. Man 5 Dodge talking about this is the truth. That is the truth when it comes to the month of May. There are some folks still talking about Walker Buehler. I'm on the more positive side of Walker Buehler. We're going to talk about that for a second, or in a second. I do want to talk about, more people's thoughts on the offense. Let's see what we got. We're talking about the other channel. I don't really want to talk about all of that. No problems with the host over there. I just they get enough press. They get enough publicity. Here it's about you guys. It's always been about you guys. That's how I run my shows. It's supposed to be about the chat, not just about the next set of numbers. That said, hey guys, hit that subscribe button. I pushed the wrong one. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 7,000 subscribers because that's something that's pretty dang cool if we can do it. Let's see what we got. Carnivorous Interactivity says the sound is cutting out. I haven't heard that one. If you guys are feeling it, my bad. Shouldn't be, but maybe it is. I don't know. Things break. We'll try to fix it there. Crank it up a little bit. I'm not, no, that, we're talking about that. All right, I'll move on because I don't want to start any, feuds. Not that I can start a feud or whatever. They don't pay attention to little old me. But some of the folks here talking about Walker Buehler. We should talk about Walker Buehler, who completed, I don't know if we can even call it completed, but went out for his second start since returning from Tommy John. And the first two starts, we'll say mixed. I don't know if that's the best way to explain it. It's going to take some time for Walker to figure it out. I think we all knew that. I think when you're at the point where you're looking at nearly 2 years removed from not only pitching in a major league game, you're more than 2 years removed from pitching at the health level and the way that you wanted, because all of the 21 season or all of the 2022 season, he was hurt. His elbow was barking at him. He had the bone chips in there. Later, things went bad. He had to have the Tommy John. They tried to do the bone chips. He tried to rehab. But that's when they discovered, hey, there's more damage in here. Do you want to try to come back from it? Couldn't come back from it and underwent the knife in July or whatever it was of that year. But again, almost 2 years removed, more than 2 years removed from feeling fully healthy. And he's somebody who pointed out that he's trying to reinvent himself. He doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be injured again. He doesn't want to hurt himself in a season or 2 or 4 or whatever it is. He wants that to be his last surgery. And with that, he changed some things. He reinvented his body ever so slightly, added some mass, tried to change his delivery, change his mechanics to get more into his body, take some of the stress off of that elbow. And it's going to take him some time to relearn how to do all of that now again at the big league level, and also at the same time relearn how to go and field your position, because we've already seen now 2 games where he has not covered first base. He mentioned after his first start kind of feeling gassed, feeling a little bit of winded. It's going to take him some time. And he even noted that. This is one of the things we talked about on Dodgers territory, where Alana asked me, how long do you think it's going to take? I said 6 starts. I give him 6 starts before we really, truly know what this version of Walker Buehler is going to be. Because this version might not ever be the same Walker Buehler we knew back in the day. This is not going to be your 2018 Buehler. It's not going to be your 21 Buehler. It's a different guy. It's going to be a different beast. But as he pointed out after his start yesterday, after his start on Sunday, he said there's just little delicacies, as he called it, to starting pitching that when you don't do it for a long time, you kind of got to figure them out. So that's where he's at right now. He's trying to figure some things out, or re-figure some things out in his game. And I'm not worried about him yet. I won't be worried about Walker Buehler until we get through another 4 starts, 5 starts. That's when we start to worry. If we don't start to see change, we don't start to see him getting ahead of hitters, we don't start to see him limiting damage early, because that's been another one of the problems. If we don't see that, then you do start to worry about butane being not broken, but just going to take him more time to kind of piece it together and figure it out. But give Walker some time. He will. Probably, potentially, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to die on that hill. I don't want to go that hard in the paint saying that he's going to figure it out 100%, because maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't. So you hope for the best when it comes to Walker, and I do feel confident enough that he will figure it out. Another one of the things I wanted to talk about here in our Dodgers news and notes, we got to talk about the potential nearing return of Jason Hayward, who is set to go out on a rehab assignment this week, if all goes well. I believe he's hitting in the cage today or tomorrow, doing live batting practice, and then he would go out and join AAA Oklahoma City as they are playing in Sacramento, so it's close to them in San Francisco. But with that in mind, that could be nearing the end for one position player on the roster. I mentioned it earlier. Everybody wants to point to James, what the hell's his name? James Outman. Words are hard sometimes. Names are hard. Too many people have too many names. But we could be nearing the end of the line for at least a little while with James Outman. Or, as I mentioned, it could be Gavin Lux, because this team has a lot of infield options, a lot of options that could play at second base, rather than filling in another infielder or just another specific outfielder or whatever, having too many outfielders out there that can't do anything on the infield. We know Chris Taylor can play second. We know he can play left. We know he can play some center. We know that Kike can play some second, can play some third, all that kind of stuff. He can play all around. I'm hearing the sound is cutting in and out. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know where. Everything should be normal, but I guess at this point it is what it is. I apologize if if it sounds bad. It shouldn't be. So I blame you guys, even though it's not your guys, because I'm hearing it from a few people. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. Who would you rather see? I think even with Lux's quality defense, I would rather see Outman out. Or sorry, I'd rather see Lux out and seeing a little bit more. And it's nothing against Lux. I think Lux getting an opportunity to get that confidence back at the plate at AAA might be a little bit better for him than James Outman. But then again, you can say the same for James Outman. He needs to play more regularly than he is right now. He's settled into this platoon role, and it's not working for him. It's not really working for him that much. We could all agree at the moment. So, and on Hayward, you have that tough kind of. I don't. It's not a honeymoon. You have to relearn Jason Hayward as well. Like, how does he fit into this team? The way the outfield is sort of constructed at the moment. How is Hayward going to fit in? How long do they give him until, they figure out, like, if he's not hitting, how much of a leash should they give Jason Hayward if he can't figure it out? We know he was another one of those guys like Miguel Rojas last year, big time clubhouse guy. But if he's coming up and he's hitting $115 for 2 weeks, I don't know that you can kind of just have that chilling on the roster while you have somebody else hitting a powerful 180 and James Outman or whatever. And by the way, Matty Man 5 Dodge says it'll be Outman, and I agree. It will be James Outman. I think that's the call. He has minor league options still left. He has not been down to AAA, back to AAA, since the start or since the end of 2022. So it could be very much an option. Michael Carrillo says that Gavin Lux is a noodle bat, which you usually don't hear too much. I thought it's more of like a holy bat because he just misses a lot. Actually, he doesn't miss a lot. He hits the top of the ball more often than he should. He's also talked about needing to hit more baseballs in the air. Right now, he's very, very top handsy when it comes to his swing. Obviously, it's funny to talk about these guys when there's dudes like CT3. There's guys like Kike Hernandez who had a nice little stretch, but fell off a cliff again a little bit. If they were smart about it, they would give Chris Taylor, a phantom injury. He'd really roll his ankle or something during infield or during drills, during practice or whatever. It ain't gonna happen, but it maybe should. Anyways, we could be a week away from this conversation, and it's a conversation that we did not have, or Dave did not want to address or did not want to deal with until he wanted to kick the can down the road as much as he could. And now he's running out of can to kick. I guess it'd be more so he's running out of road. Anyway, guys, let's move on into our final segment of the show here. We got to look ahead. The Dodgers head down to the Bay to play the San Francisco Giants. Of course, they've already swept the Giants once this season. You want them to do it in San Francisco. You got to beat the Giants. You got to sweep the Giants because this is a series you need to take advantage of. Storylines for this series: Dodgers got to get back on track. Sure, you only lost 2 of 3. It's not that huge of a deal, but it's a big enough deal when you're losing them to the rival Padres, as I air quote that. You got to get back on track. You very much need to get back on track. You got to beat up on the Giants for Alana Rizzo because we talked about this today on Dodgers territory, and I felt I'll say inclined to drop this clip from DT today where Alana said, sweep that leg. You got to stomp on these Giants while they're down. It's a very injured Giants team, and this is what Alana had to say about the Giants.
Okay, so the Giants and the Dodgers starting a series today, obviously, in San Francisco. What's the one takeaway you need to see from this upcoming series?
Well, you kind of got, I wouldn't say you got punched in the face a little bit there in San Diego, but things didn't go the way you want. So in San Francisco, a team that is beat up bad. If you think the Dodgers have it bad when it comes to players on the injured list, I think the entire Giants roster is currently on the IL. So you got to take advantage of that. Beat teams you're supposed to beat. That's what the Los Angeles Dodgers do. Go in there, beat these Giants. So that's a takeaway. Take advantage of the situation.
I agree with you, but I don't even need them to beat them. I need it to be a laugher every game. If you have the majority of your roster on the IL, that's something that you have to take advantage of, Clint. I remember somebody saying one time, if you see your enemy drowning, shove a hose in their mouth. That's what I'm talking about. I need them to be waterboarded as far as if you are that depleted. The Dodgers need to take advantage of that. And again, I think the Dodgers are going to be winners of the division by 15 games. But you're supposed to crush these teams, right? I mean, no excuses. There's no reason that the Dodgers can't go in there as talented as they are and at least, if nothing else, take 2 of 3, if not sweep them right out of Oracle.
Like I added, sweep the leg. And I love Spicy Riz. Spicy Alana is always fun when she gets on a roll and she just says, fuck it, go kill these guys. It's essentially what she's saying about the Giants. You got to go take advantage of this situation. Their armies are somewhere else defending a different part of their region. You sneak in now and you go kill the king and you take over that kingdom. Okay, maybe that's a bit much, but even so, you got to beat up the Giants. Now's the time to do it. They have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 dudes on the injured list, and it's of all varieties up to and including losing their prize off-season acquisition, Jung-Hoo Lee, yesterday to I think it was a dislocated shoulder. So another tough sledding for that Giants team, to which we say, boo-hoo. Yeah, we don't root for injuries. I never root for injuries because I think that's bullshit. But when the team is hurt and it's through no fault of your own, you get over there, you beat them up as best you can. Another one of my takeaways or storylines from this series is Gavin Stone. He needs to continue that sneaky great start. Since his first 2 pretty mid to garbage outings of the season, he gave up 3 runs in 5 innings and 5 runs in like 2 innings or whatever. Since then, 2.1 ERA. The advanced numbers don't like him as much, but I'm going to focus on that ERA, and it helps when you have the best defense in baseball behind you, making plays for you. It is, though, I believe it is his first start in that new number. He did switch to number 35. So if this is a thing, then the Dodgers need to if he's bad, they need to switch the numbers back right away because I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. So that's what you want to see. You need to see some good stuff out of Gavin Stone, who is starting game 2 of the series, but we got to talk about game 1 of that series, which is starting in about 15 minutes. So you guys are listening to the audio version of this. It's not very useful to you to hear about it, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto makes, start number 9 on the season, sporting a 4-1 record with a 2.79 ERA, which is very good when you consider he gave up 5 runs in an inning in his first big league inning. He faces Jordan Hicks, the longtime reliever, who is now a pretty effing good starter for the San Francisco Giants. 3-1, 2.3 ERA. He's only throwing like 97 now instead of 103. But we know Jordan Hicks has got nasty movement. And he's one of those guys that, with that kind of movement, you can be a little frightened of this Dodgers team. I wouldn't say performing, but you worry, you fear a little bit about the struggles of against somebody like that with that kind of stuff and that kind of nasty ass movement. But that's game 1. I still put my money on Yoshi. Still put my money on Yamasan. First start though in his career in the Bay, so we'll see how that plays up. It is, of course, Pitchers Park. Gavin Stone gets game 2 against Keaton Wynn. Both those guys doing their thing. I don't really care to talk much about Wynn because he's probably gonna now that I'm talking shit or whatever, he's probably gonna beat this team, like shut out the Dodgers or something like that. But 3-5 record, 5.63 ERA for Keaton Wynn. That's a guy you absolutely need to beat. And Gavin Stone again needs to continue to have this year 2. He's still a rookie for what it's worth. Still technically eligible to be considered a rookie, but he's got to continue this it's not a resurgent, but this rise. It's not a meteoric rise, but continue your rise. Be a very, very good pitcher for this Dodgers team. On Wednesday for the Dodgers, pitching is the always favorite TBD. They are pushing Tyler Glasnow back a day in the rotation just to give him a blow, so he will pitch on Friday. Looking like a bullpen game, possibly see. I saw somebody mention in the chat there talking about Landon Knack. We could see, probably won't see, but we could see Landon Knack make a return. But more likely, you're going to see a little bit more of a bullpen game. By then, you should have Ryan Yarbrough rested up. You got some arms that can buy you some length, but you need Stone to do well. You need Yama to do well. And I also saw somebody in the chat way earlier point out that Yamamoto, he understands the state of the Dodger bullpen right now. He needs to go out there. He needs to jam it up. He needs 6 innings at minimum, but we're looking 7-8 inning outing from Yama. Maybe not 8, but you need some length out of Yamamoto in this series. So again, the final not so hot take when we look into this Giants-Dodgers series is take advantage, sweep the leg, go for the throat, drown them, rip out their jugular, whatever it is, finish him. This is the time to do it because it's a team that is very hurt. Go for the throat, sweep the Giants this series. Did you guys have fun today? I had fun today. Let's finish our beer and then we'll get the hell out of here. Coming up on the channel this week, it should be a fairly normal week. I'm finally going to be around. I'm sorry things have been a little wonky. I promise I won't ever not be there for a Thursday show again, or at least until August. Then I have another vacation, and I'll do something fun and exciting there. But hang around. We'll do some more content on the channel this week. Of course, we'll be back on Thursday live here on the channel for Thirsty Thursday. We'll be back live on Dodgers territory on Thursday, where you didn't hear it from me, but it's lining up to make it seem like Mark Pryor might be joining Alana and myself. But again, you didn't hear that from me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the great questions, your comments. Thank you so damn much for the super chats. Shout out again to Diane for quitting her job. I'm proud of her for doing her thing, and do you, boo, as they say in the business. Gotta thank our phenomenal Patreon supporters for helping, I guess, support the channel. That's Patreon supporter. They support the channel a little bit in different ways, so check it out. Patreon.com/RealFRG. You can throw a couple bucks our way and do little things to hopefully make your Dodgers fandom more enjoyable by hanging out with us in Discord and calling into the show and having your voice be a part of the show, because this is a show for you guys. This isn't just me. This is a show where, for real, this is your show. I'm just hosting it. But anyways, I also got to shout out the mods for doing a kick-ass job in the chat. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. Go check out Bet Online if you really want to help support the channel another way. I don't know. I don't really know how that works, and they just told me to say it. But I'm Real FRG on all the things. The links are in the description. Hope we earned a thumbs up. Hope we earned a subscribe from you on the way out. We're trying to get to 7,000 subscribers. That would be a really cool number. And then from there, it'll be 10,000. And who knows? We'll do something fun with that. But subscribing is completely free. And that's about it. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye.